United Nations Development Programme, Global Environment Facility, United Nations Office for Project Services, and Atlas of Culture present.
The United Nations Development Programme and the Global Environmental Facility are supporting the efforts of Russia and Mongolia to protect the unique ecosystem of the Lake Baikal. Our mission is to safeguard the Lake Baikal, its watershed, and the unique biodiversity of this deepest lake on the planet for present and future generations.
This film is about Lake Baikal, the biggest lake in the world. We are traveling to the east, to the central parts of the largest country in the modern world. Russia is waiting for us in the heart of the boundless land of Siberia. Baikal without boundaries. Water is the cradle of life. The bodies of both man and all known biological species are composed of close to 80% water, and a human body can live without water for no longer than 5 days. Looking at those impressive water spaces, we may think our water supply is limitless, but the reality proves quite the contrary. The total amount of water on our planet is 1,386 million cubic kilometers. If we put together all fresh and salt water of the planet, it would make a sphere of that size. Only 3% of this amount is fresh water derived from rivers, lakes, groundwater, or locked in glaciers. Having access to fresh drinking water has been affirmed as an essential precondition for our civilization. According to the United Nations, there are serious deficiencies in access to drinking water in the majority of the countries in the modern world. There are only 50,000 cubic kilometers of accessible fresh water for the over 7 billion people living on the planet. And Lake Baikal contains as much as 1/5 of that amount. The basin of Lake Baikal straddles the territories of two countries, Russia and Mongolia. The United Nations Development Programme has been entrusted with the task of creating the conditions for neighboring countries to sustainably manage transboundary environmental ecosystems in observance of the accepted environmental norms. In collaboration with Russian and Mongolian scientists, UNDP specialists are monitoring the environment of Lake Baikal. The Global Environment Facility finances, organizes, and initiates scientific expeditions, seminars, and meetings, as well as the numerous joint activities performed by the researchers of the two countries. In Mongolia, only 60 kilometers away from the Russian border, we find Lake Kupsugul. This highland lake is the geological brother of Lake Baikal and contains nearly 75% of the surface fresh water of the country. 96 mountain rivers fill Lake Kupsugul with their waters. Some of them flow under the ground. The Egingol River originates from this picturesque lake. The Delgemaran, Ida, and Egingol rivers are tributaries to the Selinga River, which starts in the valley situated in the Khangai Mountains. The Selinga is the most important river in the basin of Lake Baikal and the biggest river in Mongolia. There are 336 rivers that flow into Lake Baikal, and there is only one, the Angara River, that outflows. The basin of the Selinga River covers a vast area of 447,060 square kilometers, comprising 60% of the water flowing into Lake Baikal. Without its rich and fast-running waters, the level of Lake Baikal would drop by 50%, and the Angara River would dry up, killing the unique flora and fauna of the region. The Selenga and other rivers and lakes in Mongolia and Russia form Lake Baikal in the way we know it today. The Selenga River not only brings water to Lake Baikal, but also ensures the water quality of the lake. Over the course of millions of years, a peculiar ecosystem formed in the delta of the river, which helps the lake preserve the unique qualities of fresh water. An intricate pattern of channels and small creeks, resembling a complex system of blood vessels, acts as a giant filter for the suspended matter of which the incoming water is rich. Scientists believe the delta is 500,000 years old. The delta of the Selenga River is on the list of the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands of International Importance, and Lake Baikal has been deemed a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. The Russian and Mongolian governments have established nature reserves in the vast territory of the basin of Lake Baikal in an effort to preserve the original appearance of the natural environment. The Bargazin protected area is the oldest one in Russia, and the Bargazin River is one of the biggest rivers in the basin of Lake Baikal. This territory is striking with the great diversity of its landscape, beginning in taiga, then flowing through a steppe, a desert, and highland tundra. The wide and absolutely flat valley stretches out between the Bargazin and Ikat mountain ranges. Its length exceeds 200 kilometers. The valley is rich in history, serving as the focal point of numerous notable events and beautiful legends. According to the Mongolian legend, the Bargazin Valley is exactly the site where Genghis Khan and his noble relatives were buried. This land is sparsely populated, with almost no roads. Many of the tributaries dry up in summer, but still there are several rivers that remain in full flow all round the year, providing the Bargazin River with their waters. There are several islands in Lake Baikal, the largest of which is Alkan. This island is the only island which is inhabited by a human population, while the smaller islands are homes for numerous colonies of birds. The Ushkan Islands form an archipelago where we can find rookeries of Baikal seal. Most lakes on our planet are no more than 15,000 years old, so Lake Baikal is believed to be the world's oldest lake. Scientists think it is 25 or 30 million years old. It was formed inside the largest mountain hollow on the planet as a result of the tectonic divergence of the Eurasian plate and the Siberian platform from the west and the Amurian plate from the east. This process has created a lake that is 636 kilometers in length, with a maximum width of 80 kilometers and depth of 1,637 meters. As the oldest lake in the world, Lake Baikal boasts a fascinating biological environment, which disappeared from the rest of the planet long ago. Most species of the local flora and fauna are endemic, which means they cannot be found anywhere else in the world. "800 years ago, these lands were the heart of the great empire of Genghis Khan. The world-famous commander threatened to kill anyone who would dare to cause harm to the lake and the rivers flowing into it. In present days, this vast land of Mongolian steppe and Russian Siberia is home to people representing many different countries and nations who live in peace and harmony. Altogether, they form a fascinating diversity of ancient traditions, great religions, and unique spiritual practices. Lake Baikal is right in the heart of that bright kaleidoscope of cultures. Being universally loved and revered. Its name sounds similar in the Yakut, Buryat, Mongolian, and even Chinese languages. It is believed to mean the reaches or the rich lake. This unique natural phenomenon is a real treasure, not only for Russia and Mongolia, but for the entire mankind as well. The local people understand perfectly well the level of responsibility they have for the present and future of Lake Baikal. They call Lake Baikal the sea, and they treat it as the embodiment of sacredness. The basin of Lake Baikal is shared between two countries, so its future depends on the joint efforts of both Russia and Mongolia. Time will tell whether we will be able to preserve its natural state and whether its waters will remain the standard of purity, not only for the next few years, but for the more distant future as well. Baikal without boundaries.